Okay, I have to set up the computer real quick. I have a guest comment reader. That is Warren Maxwell. You know him as Third Degree of Terror if you're a creeper.
Know him, you love him. I do.
Hi, kids. We spent the day here at Airbrush Lab. It was a great class. Had a good time.
All right.
Head is stuffed full of knowledge. Highly recommend Airbrush Lab.
Oh. Thanks, Warren.
Okay, and because of Airbrush Lab, hello Paul Bennett. Hello Rachel Powell, Stacy Hawkins. Lost Zodiac Productions, hello, haven't seen you on a while. Stanley S, Skin and Bones.
Woohoo!
And David, hi David. Rob O'Brien, Misty Jazierski. Gregory Haynes, Ken Zarish, Courtney Pepino, Garrett Bates, Nemesis RR, Fieldwalker Mask, hello Scotland. John C, Captain Marga, Micro Halloween, James Minnick. And I think I am, with that, I am caught up. All right, so I have committed myself to doing a challenge this month of October because, you know, I don't do a lot on Octobers. I know I'm not a busy guy or anything in October. So I thought I would do a challenge every day. And it is Monstober, and it is on Beast Soul Art's Instagram. And I've done the first couple, and I didn't want to miss today. And today is Undead. So I have to go real quick, and I have to find a mask that I can paint up or finish or repaint that is undead. So I'm going to go in here real quick and grab a mask, and you guys are going to stare at one.
I don't have any story times prepared, although we could do a Bigfoot themed story time if you guys are interested. I have a couple of classic Bigfoot stories I can share during Alan Foots. Or otherwise, let me talk a little bit about Airbrush Lab, because it was very cool. We got started about 9 a.m. There was a class of, I think, 7 of us. And, you know, for myself, I own a couple airbrushes, but I've never even, taken them out of the packaging. So I've always been kind of intimidated by it. So the key thing I was hoping to get out of this class was just kind of overcome that initial reluctance to start using it. So, you know, Alan did a great job. He started off kind of, you know, talking a little bit about, you know, kind of how the airbrush operates, theory of operation. We got our airbrushes all hooked up to the CO, you know, the compressors. You know, they talked about fittings and things like that. Got them to the point where they were operational about an hour or so into class, and then we basically started using black paint and doing all sorts of exercises, and just trying to develop a muscle memory of learning how to control the airbrush. So it was very cool in that regard. And that's, you know, we you know, kind of went, you know, full bore until about 1 o'clock. We took a hour break for lunch, had a delicious lunch prepared by Shannon. That's one of the great benefits of these labs and camps is Shannon's great cooking. Had a really nice lunch, and then we came back at it and, you know, kept developing our skills. You know, working on sketching faces, you know, first on a page, and then, you know, later on actually practicing on foam, you know, mannequin heads. And closed out the day by working on, you know, learning how to disassemble and clean the airbrush. So it was nice to play, you know, after using it all day, it was, you know, nice to learn that valuable skill of how do you clean it. So it was a great full day, you know, lots of knowledge, but we had a great time.
I hate it when in an airbrush class they have you take apart a clean airbrush. You know,
well, it made sense, you know, the only downside is we were a little tired at the end, but logically it made sense to wait until we'd actually used it.
Yeah. Okay, so hi everybody. Yummy, 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 hello. Our things, I hope you are good. So, undead. I have a mummy. Mummies are undead, right? This is from, I think I got this at Halloween City or it was at Spirit Halloween. And it was $14.99. So, $14.99 mummy mask. It's not terrible already, but I want to make it more of a thing. You know, I want to make it a nice thing. So I'm going to take about an hour. You know, I'm only going to take an hour. I don't want to take any longer than that because I'm tired. I put in a full day, a good day, but a full day.
So Courtney Pepino says, Undead Challenge sounds unbelievable.
Yes.
Micro Halloween, I can't afford or find a 12-foot skeleton. So I decided to make my own giant. He's just barely over 11 feet tall. I'm making a vid on him.
That's great. That's awesome. A lot of the things, you know, that I have made is because I couldn't afford the ones or couldn't get the ones that were out there. So I'm with you. I feel you. We're homies.
Robert Bryan says, a nice undead thing. Philip, please forgive me, Philip. Krzyzewski, wish Halloween were the bigger thing here in Europe.
You know what? I do too. One of the things that we make note of here sometimes is that we're big about making notes about the roots of Halloween and how it started in Europe. But it's very American, you know. It's not like it's something, you know, that is celebrated in the same way over there.
Jordan, this is Warren Maxwell. I'm actually third degree of terror on a lot of the live streams.
Yeah.
So I attended Airbrush Lab here today. So I'm filling in, giving Shannon the night off.
My phone was really dirty because it was all like hazy and foggy. I just cleaned the lens and it's like a different world. I'm gonna see if I can fit my head in this. That's an important factor.
The answer is barely. I can barely fit my head in this. Do they? They don't like people who breathe, I guess. Not a lot of breathing
Is there just a small
happening.
hole in the mouth area? Just one hole?
I don't think there's a hole.
I don't think there's a breathing hole in this. No, there are two nostril holes, and that is it. So we're going to cut out some of the mouth. That's going to be the first thing that we do to start this customization.
Ken Zaire says, I still think one of my favorite masks so far is the Burlap Scarecrow mask.
You know what? It's a nice, simple mask. And yeah, it is kind of nice. It's very Halloween. I love that. I even shoved some fall leaves into it. I can just shove fall right down your throat. And this mask, me and Warren were talking about this earlier. It's a nice mask. I mean, it's not poorly painted. It's a touch on the small side. And for $15, you know, you can't really beat that. That's better. Now I can talk and I can breathe.
So now the form fitting is a benefit, right? Because you can actually
No, it's a positive.
articulate.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little closer. Yeah, I just had a dirty phone, that's all. So again, guys, if you're having a conversation with each other, make sure you at whoever it is you're talking at. That way Warren doesn't have to try to read every single comment that pops up, because that gets difficult.
Yes. Please be gentle with me, guys. This is my
Yeah,
first
he's
night
a new reader.
reading comments.
He promises to be not as good as Shannon, but better than Rob at reading comments.
Hello, Joanne Crowley. Scott Creighton. I don't know if we said hi before. Sarah R. Hi.
Hello, Scott.
Jordan Zell said, I just finished my Dishonored mask.
Awesome. going to take a little more out of that eye so I could see a little better. That eye was kind of tight. And I'm not a fan of fake bandages on. I'd rather put on bandages. And since I just made a mummy bodysuit, I might as well keep this as a mummy. So I think it's going to get a quick repaint, and we're going to do a bandage sort of headdress over it. I think that'll work well. Okay, paints.
Hello, Mike Murphy. Hello, Lucky 2001. Yay, you are on live tonight. Hope everyone is doing well.
I am live tonight through a twerk of fate. Twerk of fate? Twerk of fate?
Quirk.
A twerk of fate would be something different altogether.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Nobody needs a twerk of fate.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I just picture the Norns like kind of getting after it.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
Hello, Nate Slankard. Hi, Joanne. This is Warren, who's Third Degree of Terror on some of these live streams. I'm a home hunter / pro hunter who's known Ellen. We were trying to figure that out tonight. 5, 6, 7
while.
years. A while.
Yeah.
And I was a student at the airbrush lab class today, so that's why I'm still lurking around. Alan,
Very,
it's
very
to
nice airbrush lab today. I was happy with it. I think it went well.
Jordan Azell says, "Do you remember my boogeyman?
Yeah, I
What's
do.
his name?"
Ipswich, Ipsel. It's. I remember the concept. I remember the costume you made. I remember all of that. The name is tough. Do I remember the name? No. Ips. Nope, I don't. But I tried. Ipswich? Ipswich?
Amy Jarvis says, "I finally got the underlayment foam sheeting today, so my daughter and I can make her wings."
That's
So
awesome.
excited.
I'm excited. You think you're excited? I'm excited.
Jordan says, "Ipso Cyrus."
Ipsocyrus, that's what it was. I was like Ipsolipso, Ipsocalypso, but it's Ipsocyrus. That's right.
And hello, Joanne.
So I'm everywhere that they have fake bandages, I'm going to have to cover with kind of real bandages. But I also like it when there's not a lot of mummy face showing through. And I have to figure out how I'm doing these real bandages. Luckily, I have a drawer labeled bandages. And here I have bandages. This will be great. This is some white creepy cloth. I have some Mum-Ra wrappings that I saved because of who I am as a person. And I think I can layer this creepy cloth to get enough of a good mask effect. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, this will work. I can work with this. Now, I'm not making a mask for me. I don't think I'll fit in it. I'm going to be honest with you. But it'll work.
Ken Zeris asks, "What's the foam spray you use again? I'm going to try to make a mask."
It is Loctite foam. I use Loctite foam. Loctite. And watch the video right before you make your mask so you don't miss any steps or anything.
just realized we're on Top Chat, we're not on Live Chat.
Oh, we're not on live chat. That's right. We have to be on live chat.
It's not supposed to be on it.
And you know what I'm going to do? I have a plan. And I alter my plan moment by moment because this is an unplanned project. Unplanned projects cost more money than planned projects.
Yes, Stone Farmer and JTA Haunts. Yes, it is a mummy. Alan can explain why he's doing a mummy.
So I'm doing a challenge called Monstober. All right, Monstober is the name of the challenge, and that is through Beast Soul Art's Instagram page. And I'm kind of doing, where they would do a drawing, I'm making a mask. It might be a repaint or a redo like this one is, but I'm doing something in the mask world because that's what I do. So, Monstober, I'm going to do a mask. And this is a mummy mask that I purchased at either Halloween City or Spirit Halloween. I forget which one. Yeah. And in all honesty, why am I using this foam? Because I think with water it's going to set in about 10 minutes. And anything else that I use is going to take longer. So I'm going to press this fabric into the foam and use that as a mechanical lock to lock in the fabric that I do.
Hello, Robbie Pope. Hello, Scott Cohart. So Jordan Zell says his mask is a death spirit that exclusively preys on criminals. He wears a white cotton jumpsuit that conceals a dry skull. He has gangrenous fingers and wears black linen over his calves and feet.
Jordan is, he makes a lot of characters, and he does a pretty good job. I actually enjoy his backstories and stuff that he writes up. I don't necessarily want foam everywhere. I'm just sort of doing what I hope will be a little bit of foam.
And yes, Phil, this is a kind of an expanding foam.
This is Loctite foam. Loctite foam, yes.
Lucky 2001 says you have inspired me, Alan, to finally start typing up the animated short horror that I've had in my mind for a long time, so I can start talking to artists. Thank you.
Awesome, that's great. Get on it. Go make stuff. Like right now, hang out and watch, but afterwards, go make stuff.
Jason Augustino says, is this a Alan made mask? Just tuning in.
No, this is one that I just got at Spirit Halloween or Halloween City. It was one of those two. And I am using the Loctite foam to lock this fabric in place. I'm using it as a binder, really. That way I can have this fabric attached at many different points.
And thank you, Scott, for posting a link to Loctite foam on Home Depot's website. Rudy, 2691 asks, ever thought about a He-Man mask that splits down the middle of the face and you peel it back and it's Skeletor underneath?
I have not thought about that. But I'm not, so what I would do in that case is I would make Faker He-Man and he would peel it back and it would be the robot skeleton. Because Faker's really, he's a T2 is what he really is. He's a Terminator. He's a T1000? T9? Which one was Arnold?
Arnold was, I think, a 1000.
T1000.
I think so.
Yeah, I think Faker He-Man is the T1000.
Chaz Smith just arrived. How goes it?
I think it's going well. I just got started. I'm not sure. But I think it's going great.
Jason
I'm a
says
little biased.
T800.
T800. Okay.
I'll take your word for it, Jason.
I'm not as big on my Terminator lore as I should be. I'm what you call woefully behind in Terminator preparedness meetings.
So you're not concerned about the base paint not being dry because you're just going right over top of it.
It's going to be another binder. If that dries up, it's going to be another binder. Yeah.
Micro Halloween asks, how would you go about decorating a giant demon skeleton type thing? I have weed mat stuff to make a robe / cloak, but is there anything I could add to take it a step further?
Well, I know a guy made a YouTube video about making wings. You want wings on it. But honestly, it all depends on, like, what's your design? I would hop on Pinterest, and you said demon skeleton thing. I would hop on Pinterest, and I would look for and at some pictures in the same realm of what you want to be doing, and use those and find out what's on them. Do they have a belt with a lot of cool stuff hanging off of it? One of my Pinterest boards is just D&D backpacks, because eventually I'm going to do well, I have a character that I'm going to do a nice backpack for, and I have just all these different inspiration of their different backpacks that different characters wear.
Ashley NP says, catching my first live. I
Wow.
stumbled upon the channel a few days ago and have been binging videos and past lives. YouTube can be so random with suggestions, but I'm hooked now.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I need to get another layer around that neck, or else I don't think it'll hold well. And this could all fall apart. This could be a tragedy. We'll see.
Edson Juice asks, what's going on tonight, kids?
I foolishly, in my head, committed, not to anyone in person, to doing a daily challenge in October of making monsters. I figured I'm making monsters anyway, and today's challenge was undead. So I'm just trying to make something undead, and a mummy fits the bill, and a mummy is something that people wanted me to make anyway. Once I did the mummy wrap costume, this can be his head. But all of this fabric I'm putting on here is actually locking down into this foam.
Jason Augustini says, the cowl you have going on reminds me of Mumra in mummy form.
I did make, in mummy form. Yeah, you're absolutely right, it does. I made a Mumra in non-mummy form earlier. I know for a fact that this mask will no longer fit me, because once I put it on the neck, like I have a 21.5-inch neck. So I know that I'm not gonna get my head in here, but I'll get Rob or Stan to wear it down the road.
Jordan Rizal says, Cyrus, for the most part, is very benevolent. When he isn't eating murderers, he runs profitable businesses and hangs out with kids as an imaginary friend.
That's a flavor of creepy.
Brian Heron says, love your ideas for Halloween. Definitely going to try some.
Awesome. I'm glad. So now I have adhesive going on here while it's wet. I have, I'm working with the foam. One of the things that I always say is if you want to work fast, don't work wet. I want to work fast. I want to have this guy done in an hour, and yet, here we are. But I also wanted, I want a certain look for this, you know?
Jordan Rizal has a question, a flavor of creepy?
Yeah, I think any murderer who hangs out with kids, you know, that's a flavor of creepy. There's more than one flavor of creepy. Creepy is a buffet.
Jason Augustini asks, right, what are you going to spray it down with?
Well, I have, right now I'm using spray adhesive. to hold all these bandages on. And the spray foam that's in there, that should be set up in about 10-15 minutes. I have pressed it pretty thin, so it's not like it has a lot of thick spots or anything. And I am making sure that I cross where I have to cut at the back of the neck.
Brian Herring asks, have you done a scarecrow yet? If not, are you going to do one? This is something I want to do this year.
I want you to look at Wednesday's video. I did a burlap mask, which is also a scarecrow head. So the answer is yes, I have done one. I love scarecrows. I don't think you'll find a Halloween season where I don't make at least one scarecrow, whether it's for a haunt or for something.
Chad Smith says, I'm almost certain you already did this, but do you mind explaining the monster challenge that you are doing?
Yes, okay. So there's an Instagram, all right? And the Instagram is called Beast Soul Art on Instagram. And that is a friend of mine. Her name is Chelsea. She's a phenomenal artist, and you should follow her Instagram in your own right anyway, because it's awesome and she does good stuff. And on top of that, I'm sure you guys have heard of Inktober, where a lot of artists they'll work from a list in order to do inspired pieces. Well, this is like Inktober, except it's Monstober, and we are making monsters. Most people are drawing, but I happen to make masks more than I draw, or more than I paint, so I'm not doing that. I am making masks for Monstober, so it's kind of a mask a day that I am making based off of these drawings. And each day is like a themed challenge, and today's theme is undead.
Libby Beto says, hi, creepers. Scott Colhart actually put the link to Chelsea's Instagram page.
That would be phenomenal. Thank you, sir. Okay, I want to do one more thing here before we go crazy. I'm so crazy.
Chad Smith says, sounds fun.
It is fun. Eat some fun, yo. Everything in my shop moves. It all moves around. I just looked in the wrong drawer for my heat gun. Heat gun time. Yeah, and on there, look for Monstober. It's like October, but it's monster. Monstober. And that is where I'm getting the names from and all that I'm doing. Like yesterday was Shadow Creature, so I made that demon mask.
Jordan asks, have you seen and heard of Ginger Clown?
I have not. But I don't really look up a lot of clown stuff.
Chad Smith says he just followed her. I guess we mean Chelsea.
Yeah. Now I'm putting a different kind of spray adhesive on the outside of these bandages. And we're just kind of locking everything in. And I also have put spray adhesive up on this face, right over top of the paint that isn't dry. If you're going to work wet, go ahead and commit to working wet. I'm doing a lot of stuff that won't clash with each other while it's wet, so I can just keep on going. And this foam is slowly hardening. You know, it's getting harder, and as soon as it has all this fabric locked into it, and I want to see how this stuff works. Great. I'm bubbling up this spray adhesive I just put on. Yeah, I'm kind of drying it, but I mostly just want to bubble it up and give it some texture.
Joanne Crowley asks, I know you've mentioned it before, but what type of spray and adhesive do you use?
I use Super 77 to just hold it down. And now that I want to boil it, let's watch this face, okay? I just put some on the face. And now I'm going for a texture here. I'm not doing a spray adhesive because I want anything to stick. I put it on nice and heavy. And I have a heat the gun, not a hair dryer, a heat gun. Feel that's boiling? And I'm getting this real pockmarky look. Well, that's going to stay. This spray adhesive, it's spray contact cement. So it kind of turns into plastic on the face. And now I've got all this great texture up there that I can work with and do things with. Whereas before, I didn't have a lot of texture.
Joey Zell asks, which version of Pennywise do you prefer? I prefer Skarsgård.
I would also say Skarsgård. I think that's a pretty unpopular opinion. Tim Curry did a great job. He's just dated. Not he is dated, but his Pennywise is certainly dated due to the makeup effects of the time, and they were able to do more with Skarsgård.
Trav's Garden, Trav's 100 Yards says, awesome, taking note, thanks. Scott Cohort posted the link directly to the Von Stover schedule page.
Cool.
Jordan says, yes, Curry's is much more clownish.
Yeah, I felt more of a sense of demon with Skarsgård, which I didn't get a lot of that from that version in the 80s. But I think a lot of that was the times, you know.
Yeah, plus it was a limited budget. It was made for TV.
Yeah.
Special, so.
Yeah, it wasn't near as big as the one made for the movies. Which that was the number one horror movie in the world, like ever, like the number one box office for any horror movie ever.
Nathan Siebold says, loving this mummy, first time on the live, but I've learned a lot from your other YouTube vids. Thank you, sir.
Well,
Also-
thank you.
Also, thanks for the Von Stover challenge info. I'm following.
Do it, man. I think there's going to be some really cool stuff. Mostly it's drawing, okay? I'm just not that guy, so I'm not drawing. I like to draw, but I'm not drawing.
Ronnie Pope says, I did one of your barrel cages today. It was a fun project.
Awesome. I saw you, looks like you got a bunch of barrels. Were you planning on doing more of them?
Gina, that was 3M Super 77 spray adhesive that he applied to their face and then hit with the heat gun.
It was actually Weldwood
Whoops.
contact cement spray adhesive. I used the Super 77 to stick some things down, and then I used the Weldwood to boil up.
I'm sorry, I did it wrong.
No, you did. You're doing fine, and you said it right in front of me, and I was able to correct it. And right now, before it's a problem, I'm freeing this off of the bust. Like nothing, I mean, this is all compounded together, but this foam is still flexible for a while. And because it's strands of foam, not one sheet of foam, this will be a pretty flexible piece to begin with.
KJ King says, hey y'all, the king is home. Love the mask. Looks very, very awesome.
Thanks, man.
Plastic Ninja says, hey everyone.
Hello.
John McDonough says, good evening. Awesome.
Thanks. Now see, and this contact cement spray is dry. I'm dry brushing right back on top of it now.
Ronnie Pope says, I had to drive quite a way to get it, so I just grabbed a few while I was there.
Hooray. Well, you know what? I have another project coming up this week, Rodney, involving barrels. So you may believe that you made the right choice.
Johan G asks, is the spray foam safe to wear on the skin or is a face sock needed?
I almost always wear a face sock. However, it's pretty skin safe. Once it's cured, I give it a couple weeks to cure. Once it's cured, it's fine up against your skin. It doesn't leach. The only time it leaches harsh chemicals is when it's foaming and when it's curing.
Rachel Powell says, this would scare the crud out of my kids. I love it.
Hooray!
Herman asks, can I get the link for the hair extensions? I tried painting some black hair with acrylic paint, /water mix, and spray paint on another one, but it didn't work.
It's very hard to paint black hair. Like the saying, once you go black, you can't go back, that actually has to do with painting hair. That's where that originated. Or painting most things black. Once you go black, you really can't go back. It's all about painting.
John Rizal asks a deep philosophical question. Why is Adam Frankenstein portrayed as a blockhead?
Because there'd be a lot of swelling around the brain if you actually did that operation. So you would have to not encase the brain fully in a regular bone skull, and it would swell up quite a bit, I believe, which is why they were giving room for brain swelling.
Phil Krzyzewski asks, honest question, guys. Does COVID have an impact for you guys in the U.S. for Halloween this year, or do you handle it as usual?
Massive impact. My haunted house actually isn't open, and normally I would be working until I die from it. I'd be working right now, actually.
Ronnie Pope says, thinking about doing a photo op with toxic barrels and some toxic zombies or something along those lines. And he's looking forward to this week's YouTube Wednesday.
I'm gonna beat the devil out of this brush real quick. Get some of this other paint off that I mixed. That's my top coat. I have a bottom coat that I want to put on first, which is like a purple brown.
Horror Beauty FX, hello. Oh yes, this is awesome. You just made my day, Alan. Thank you.
You know what? I'm glad to. Thank you. Horror Beauty, did you do any running today? You normally make me feel bad by saying, oh yeah, I ran 47 miles today. It was a light run, uphill, carrying a donkey.
Jordan says, so Adam has a soft head, and how do you know that?
What I know is that the medicine of the time, brain swelling, man. When brains swell, it's a big problem. It's a big deal. So they have to get around that somehow. And the only way to do it is to give the brain more room to heal.
Ooh, Joanne Crowley says, Worcester, Massachusetts has banned door-to-door trick-or-treating this year. Joanne, I'm from Air Mass, so I had not heard that Worcester had already banned trick-or-treating. So that's interesting to hear. Horror Beauty FX says, no running, it was pouring. Ran a 3-mile hike feeling underactivated.
Hold on. A 3-mile hike and she didn't feel like she did enough.
Sorry, I make you feel bad. I have to get rid of all my energy somehow.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I make stuff, so there you go. I'm using a dry brush here because I want him to feel very dry. Amazing how fast that comes together, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna grab a small brush for his teeth.
Are you going to drape anything over the face or just leave the face?
I think I'm leaving his
outline
face
as that?
mummy and open. Yeah, I
Okay.
think his bandages have ripped away. I kind of like that.
Horror Beauty FX asks, so was this a build or a straight mask?
This is a build. This is a $14 mask that I bought at Party City. No, Halloween City or Spirit Halloween. I forget which one. It was one of them. And then I think it was Halloween City. And then I needed to do an undead challenge, so this was it for the day. This is undead / decay, and I think this guy covers both. So here we are.
He says, sweet.
But this is something, I didn't sculpt this. Anybody can do this.
Ashley MP says, I'm in southeastern Virginia and haven't heard anything about trick-or-treating yet.
Well, I think like most of the world, when you're a haunter, you come to realize that most people don't think about Halloween until last week of October. And I think that we're going to get a lot of that. I think you'll start getting mandates and stuff like October 20th.
And it really is a town-by-town, city-by-city thing.
It is 100% town by town, city by city, yes. I'm going to put a little bit of this white that I just put down here in this other color and do one more dry brush to pop some drama and some detail on this guy.
Sean Steffen says, they're going to ban trick-or-treating here in Colorado, but leave it in a haunted house that people can drive by anyway. I use some of your ideas to help me along with the build. Thank you.
That is so awesome. I think it's going to be important for people to have something to do. And a drive-by experience, I think, is a really good idea.
Mike Cook Thor 2006 says 147 creepers watching.
Hi, everybody. So if you guys are new and you're not here a lot, I make stuff and I try to encourage other people to make stuff, along with my weekly videos that drop.
I don't know that one.
Along with my weekly videos that drop every Wednesday. I also do a lot of live videos. Most of the live videos are mask making because that's what I do in my shop for the monies. Like, this is my job. So, yeah. This is actually feeling pretty nice to me. Yeah, but I want to now hit these wraps. I don't know how long we've been live. I have no idea. Do I don't think I want anything over the face. I think I want to keep the face open. I mean, like I'm looking, and I don't like a lot of this. Like, it's tough to do that and like it. It's kind of like one cracked horn, like one broken horn. It sounds so good, like in theory. Like, yeah, he's tough. He's got one broken horn. But then when I do it, it's like, it doesn't look right. It never looks right to me.
DM Cash asks, do you feel you could sell this mask?
Yeah, absolutely.
Jason Voorhees Costumes asks, will this be uploaded to the channel? I missed most of this. Looks great.
So I am making a mask for a Monstober challenge on someone's Instagram. And my YouTube channel is Stiltby Studios, and I post a video every Wednesday. Wednesday morning, you'll get a YouTube Wednesday video from me on how to make something. Normally it's Halloween or haunted house related. And I'm doing another layer of the weld wood to give it a little more texture, a little more depth.
Rachel Powell says, those teeth are begging for some great staining.
The teeth are gonna get stained. They're gonna get some staining.
Amy Jarvis says, in Tennessee, we're pretty much business as usual. I went to my first big haunt last weekend. National Nightmare was amazing.
Awesome. Were the people in line social distancing? Was the haunted house controlling social distancing and making sure that people did it?
Captain Margaret says, so glad our small town of Bonham has decided to go ahead with trick-or-treating on the square.
Awesome. All right, so this paint is one of my favorites. This is it's a paint called Movie Paint, and this is nicotine spray. Movie Paint nicotine spray. I'm gonna try it on the back and see how it looks on these bandages. I seem to recall it being a nice mummy look. It's a little light. I wish it were heavier, but I'm gonna hit it and get all these guys aged up.
Halloween Kieran asks, I forgot, where can you get your mask from?
Stiltbeaststudios.com. Stiltbeaststudios.com.
People Cox says, I like an open Allen. Rachel Powell says, I want to own this mask so badly.
Huh.
Celeste Kitty says, hey class, got a hunk of webbing up today on a giant cactus. Only fell into it twice. Caulking $1 tombstones to foam tonight to detail tomorrow.
Awesome.
Making 2-bag ghosts tomorrow too.
That's great. You're kicking Halloween butt. You're a Halloween superhero. That's what you are.
Joanne Crowley asks, how about a small pick of the cheesecloth?
A small pick.
Yeah, I think maybe.
Oh, this is what I used here was Creepy Cloth. This was Creepy Cloth that I got. I think I got Creepy Cloth at Big Lots, but a lot of places sell Creepy Cloth, and that was the underneath. And this is just strips of a canvas tarp. This is strips of a canvas tarp. There's a seam right down here that I don't like. It's a sewn seam, and it looks machine sewn, and they would not have that on mummies, so I'm taking that off.
Mike Wrzowski, I think, says hello, guy.
Hello.
Amy Jarvis says, yes, they were social distancing in line and waiting 1 minute between groups going in.
That is awesome. I'm so glad to hear folks are doing it right. So now I'm changing my paint. Now I'm going to a glossy wood tone from Design Master Spray Paints. But this is all spray paint, you'll see. I know what glossy wood tone does, so I don't mind throwing it just right on the front. And I'm going to hit the whole face with it because I think it's nice for a mummy. So that gets them aged up. We talked about staining those teeth, and that did it right there. Boom, chicka pow pow. And now, see how this canvas piece comes down this way? I'm going to outline it. And that's going to make it seem like there's more straps than there are. And that's just going to add to the look of this mask. It's going to add age, which is a positive for mummies. Ladies don't want to look older than they are. Mummies do.
Halloween Kieran says, I wish I lived in America. UK are always so rubbish with Halloween.
You know what? It is people like you who are going to fix that. It is people like you and your attitude who you're going to go to your cities and say, can we do trick-or-treating in our town? Maybe not this year. Not a good year to start pushing for that. Can we do trick-or-treating in our town? Can we have this Halloween dance? Can we do this Halloween event? And you are going to start Halloween events. And other people are going to see you start Halloween events. And then before you know it, people you don't know who love Halloween are going to do other Halloween events that you can go to. And you don't have to work. And those are the best kind of Halloween events, in my opinion. Warren,
Yes, sir.
we're almost done with this mask.
Okay.
Any idea how long we've been on the air?
I think someone may have posted 42 minutes. That was a little while ago. It is like 9:46.
Okay, I
Think
feel
we move on around
pretty
right
good.
around 9, I think.
I want to make him a centerpiece brooch right there on his throat. So we're going to go to a different drawer.
Horror Beauty says, Alan, 48 minutes.
We're going right here to this adhesives drawer. And I'm going to get a bit of epoxy putty stick. I get the kind from Harbor Freight mostly because I'm cheap. And it works the same as the kind that's not from Harbor Freight.
Horror Beauty says, we are social distancing too. We are waiting for a group in the other room about 1.5 minutes.
Awesome. You know what? And I know that it's hard this year. I know it's hard for haunts that want to make money. But it's going to be better in the long run because I think more haunts will be allowed to open. And we're going to get through this a little faster as a country if we are social distancing. So all this foam now, this foam is hardened. But because I put it in ropes, all I'm using it for is to hold this fabric together. And then this fabric is the base fabric, the cheesecloth, which is creepy cloth. And then on top of that, I glued and stuck into the foam this canvas. So it actually has a real nice, strong layered effect. And the mask is a full 3/4 mask anyway. It covers 3/4 of the head. A full mask would cover all of this. A 3/4 mask covers about this forward.
You're getting suggestions for maybe adding a beetle brooch,
Scarab.
brooch or scarab.
That's what I'm doing. I'm doing a scarab right now. Right now. Don't wanna wait till tomorrow. Right now. Why put it off another day? This magic moment. Do
Now, see, you
it
spelled
right.
it as a scare ab.
A scare ab. That's like I have scare abs when I take my shirt off.
Otherwise known as boobs.
What?
Otherwise known as boobs.
Moobs, okay.
Man boobs.
A little lower, a little lower.
Oh, that's what you're talking about, sorry. Our beauty says, don't feel bad, Ellen, my abs are not so great either.
Yeah. Like, I know runners are healthy, but they don't look healthy. Like Olympic runners, I want to hire them all for my zombie show. They're very svelte. They're
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's a collection of well put together sticks. That's their frame.
They're perfect for zombies, right?
And they've got endurance. They'll last all night. That's what's great. Okay, I'm taking off these gloves now because, you know, who needs them? I'm going to have to keep picking this up off the table or else it will stick.
Tarantula says, I almost laughed. Would not be good to do while giving myself insulin.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't stab yourself while giving yourself insulin.
Rachel Powell says, but seriously, can I buy this? I'm totally in love with it.
Well, it's not done yet. Wait till it's done. I mean, we're getting close. I ain't gonna lie, we're pretty close to being done, but it's not done.
T.J. King says, I see Skeletor on my Beast shirt. I like the design. John Crowley says, like the Running Dead.
The Running Dead. Oh, that's nice. That's funny.
That's perfect. Yeah.
That's funny.
Urban Beauty says, I'm a chunky runner. I do not look like that.
Car Beauty, I think you're one of the few who I've kind of figured out who you are on other social medias. One of the few. Because I'm not great with names to begin with, and then everybody's got a YouTube name, and then they have a Facebook name, and then they have a name, and yeah, they have all these different names.
John C. says, the scarab beetle is actually a dung beetle.
Yes, it is. And in Egyptian mythology, they say that a scarab beetle pushes the sun across the sky because the dung beetle pushes a ball of dung across the desert.
Misty Jazowski says, I was asked to be a Grim Reaper in the cemetery at our local haunted house this year. I know we're doing the social distancing thing, don't know the details.
Cool. And I've made a very fast scarab beetle. This is very fast. And that's just going to go on his neck. And I'm going to, this is already hot. Like it's very hot to the touch because this is a chemical that when you mix the two types of clay together, they produce an exothermic reaction which hardens it and turns it into resin. So let's take this over to Jan. Mame.
Trent says, because the sun is crap, this is why I lack vitamin D.
Yeah. That's nice. That's kind of centered. That works. And this is not all the way hardened yet, but I'm putting it on so that the natural stickiness of the piece, this clay is naturally kind of sticky. It will help this stick and adhere, and I won't have to do anything. It's just going to stick to itself.
Holly Karen asks, would you do Thriller for Halloween special with all those costumes and masks?
No. If you want to dance, you'll have to. If you want me to dance, you got to pay me. That's how I work. I'm not a dancer, and I don't think he's going to get a chain either. I thought about a chain, no chain.
Herbie says, is it horrible that I want a bug coming out of his eye?
No, that is not horrible. I respect your life choices. I do want a little bit of leakiness out of this scarab, and I think that this more glossy wood tone will be good for that. Highlight around the scarab a little bit. Low light? Highlight? Frame. We're going to frame the scarab. That's what we're doing.
Jeff Sawyer says, so you were saying we need to tuck singles in? I don't know, I don't know where that comment's coming from. So you are saying we need to tuck singles
Oh,
in?
I'm a stripper. Like, you got to pay me if you want me to dance. Yeah. You've heard of Magic Mike? I'm Magic Michael Myers. That's what I am. Get your pumpkin deliveries ready.
Tarantula says, I say we fill the mask with live locusts.
Yeah. That would be uncomfortable for the actor. But, you know what? Actors. Boy. All right, so I have gold leaf paint that I am painting onto Jan Scarab. And I actually love this paint.
Michelle Brown says, I have a free home haunt. We were doing social distancing. We removed black curtains between rooms. Masks are required, and I am making Alan's burlap mask for my actors to wear PPE under.
That's awesome. I'm glad I could help you in some small way to still deliver a great Halloween experience and be as safe as possible.
Tarantula says that would be uncomfortable for everyone. No, TJ King, I don't think Alan's going to be creating an OnlyFans page anytime soon.
I can't even get my Patreon started. Are you kidding? You know why? I don't have time to fill out rewards. That's why. That's why I haven't done it.
Lisa Gordon Aaron says, oh my gosh, that's amazing. C. Young asks, how long does epoxy take to set up?
5 minutes. This is this steel stick epoxy. It takes about 5 minutes. It doesn't take long. This is hard already. I mean, it's painted. It's hard. It's not flexible anymore. I just want to dry that paint so that I can put some other paint on it. Because you know me, I'm all about that paint. All about that paint. And that goes really good on the gold. I'm going to take a little bit of this excess fabric and let's just touch that up. Pull a little bit of that off, but leave it in the crevices. I still think it needs a harder hit around that scarab. I don't think that is strong enough.
TJ King says, I agree, to be honest, Patreon is ahead.
I just haven't set it up. Let's go with Havana Unana. I'm going to go with some Havana Brown. And I'm doing it in a Pache H airbrush that I used today for class. And I cleaned it out afterwards because I had to do a demo on it. Otherwise, I would not have cleaned it out. So this is the Undead Challenge / Decay for Monstober. I wanted to take an hour, and I wanted to knock this challenge out. I really don't need that much ink.
Can I actually suggest maybe some dark drips around the bug's mouth, like it's chewing into him? The Hunt says this mummy looks cool as hell.
Thanks, guys. Once again, I'm just going to take these straps. I'm outlining these straps now with the airbrush. With the airbrush, I just have a lot more control than I do with a can of spray paint, obviously. Maybe not, obviously. Maybe no one knows. What you think, Warren?
Okay, great. Yeah, I mean, good call, leaving the whole face exposed.
Got good impact. So now this color that I'm using is called Havana Brown. And this is from Pinata Alcohol Inks. And I buy those normally from Dick Blick Art Supply.
John Keller says, love the look and concept of starting with this hard-body mask. Looks great.
Nothing you ever buy is finished. It's not done. They didn't make it for you. They didn't know what you wanted to use it for. It's not finished. So it's up to you to finish it. That's part of your job when you buy it.
UMG says, will look great with the mummy suit from the other day.
That is the plan.
RB says, okay, if Rachel buys this one, I will buy a second one. This is sick. So
Well-
where was this challenge? I want to check out everyone's stuff. Excited my brother-in-law gave me a nice Pache airbrush.
Yeah, that's awesome. Pache's great. I'm using a Pache right now.
Rachel, Horror Beauty, I think if you scroll back up, Scott Colhart posted the link to the Instagram page that has the Monstober.
It is Beast Soul Arts Instagram page. And on my Instagram, yesterday's challenge, I put a picture at the end of the challenge itself. But I'm not tech savvy, so it wasn't a link. I don't know how to do that on Instagram. So it is a,
Just an image, right?
yeah, it's a picture, it's a screen capture of a Beast Soul Arts page. Tie that in a little better, a little more. I'm calling the mummy done. I think I met my hour.
Yes, you are.
I think that I have improved the mask and its look. Yep, that's hard plastic now. All of this is flexible enough to come off, no problem. Let me just move it over here, take it off of the head form. Yeah, it's pretty much just the tightness of the mask.
If you need another pair of hands, let me know. Heather Corey says, wow, incredible. I watched from start to finish.
That's awesome. I'm glad you at least seem to enjoy it. There we go. We have a mummy.
TJ King says, do you think if you had some black on the back of the eyes, would it make it better?
It would make the eyes blacker. I mean, it depends. If you have contacts, then I wouldn't want that.
Yes, usually Crazy Kelly says, that is disastrously beautiful.
We have a mummy mask, guys. Now, here's what the back of it looks like. I did slit it up the back. and we could poke holes in here and put a few rivets and rivet it together, or I could add in some Velcro just to Velcro it together in the back. I think that's a good mummy mask.
Nice.
For the time we spent, it was a 3/4 mask when we started, and inside is very dry. It holds its shape. So we have a mummy mask in about an hour from a store-bought mummy mask. But I think that we dude pimp my money. My mummy.
Mummy.
My mummy.
Mama.
Dude pimp my mummy, and we did so.
And Yummy says, always amazing how quickly you can design such amazing masks. Tells me how long you've been doing it. You have an amazing eye and talent, and I appreciate you sharing it with us.
Well, that's very kind. Thank you.
Jay King says, I love it. It was really well done. Missy Brzezinski, awesome. Chad Smith, pretty sick man. Rachel Powell, amazing. Sarah R, nice. Kirk Mataya, looks great.
And as they say in the business, boom, shakalaka. So, Warren, why don't you say good night, sir?
Good night, sir.
I thank you greatly for your help and for coming out to Airbrush Lab today. Hope you enjoyed that.
It was awesome. Had a great time.
And the mummy says good night. I say good night. And I also say, go make stuff.